All right. Good morning and afternoon to everyone, depending on where you are in the country. Megan and I are really excited to be here today and to be able to launch this exciting new test program for our newest iteration of our employee engagement initiative. So Megan and I are tackling this project on the corporate side, and we've got a really awesome new partner that we're going to be working with on this project, Go Happy. And so we've got four of the members of Go Happy, Ashley, Ben, Greg, and Sean, that are joining us today. So Megan and I are going to kick this off, talk a little bit about where the idea for the engagement platform came from and the needs that we have right now as a company. And we're just going to talk for a few short minutes, and then we're going to turn the presentation over to the Go Happy team, and they're going to give you the specifics on what the program is going to look like at launch, some of the specifics on the communication to your employees, and then at the end, you'll have a chance to ask any questions that you have. Feel free to type questions into the chat or the Q&A during the presentation. We will save all of the answers for the end, and we'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can live. And if there are any questions that we can't answer, we'll be sure to send out the answers after we're done. All right, Megan, are you ready to get started?
I am ready.
Awesome. So today we are talking about employee engagement. And this is a hot topic for us for a few reasons. So we're just going to talk about, from the Hand and Stone perspective, why today is the right day to talk about engagement. So first of all, as I'm sure all of you that are joining in the Hand and Stone world are aware of, we're having some challenges with recruiting this year. We're recovering from the pandemic, and that's created some challenges. So, our pipeline for new employees is, even tighter than we're used to. We're also having challenges with retention. So, keeping our really good employees working for us has been a challenge. And we also feel like, for the most part, a lot of our spas have stabilized. They're looking towards growth again. So we think this is the right time to, really focus on what can we do with the employees that we already have, and how do we improve on what we've got inside of the four walls of the spa. Megan, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I definitely think that this is something that matters all of the time, but I've been very, very impressed by how our spas have stabilized, particularly in the last 2 months, I would say. And the conversation is starting to shift towards growth in certain areas of the business, if not all, spa by spa depending. And that makes this a really, really great time to launch this initiative for in Mike and my world, a second time, in fact. It leads us to really the full purpose here is what we want to do is turn opinion and theory into facts, is really what I would say is the best way to describe what this initiative really accomplishes. We all have our own feeling at this point on how we are doing as employers and how our employees feel about the job we're doing and how engaged they truly do feel. But this is going to allow us to assign data and facts to those theories, which is, really allows us to operate from a place of confidence and comfort as we move forward. The other thing I think it's really identifying here is who our top performers are within our franchise. I'm very proud of the way we exchange best practices, and we want to see everybody grow as a company and as a brand. But this is the one area that, again, back to opinion and theory, we're really just theorizing on who we think are our best examples in this category. I really want to be able to identify who our best practice sharers should be at a click of the button, the same way we can with conversion rate and the same way we can with average ticket and other data points. So really exciting to be able to put some data to performance and know who we need to go to and who should be our shining examples in this category.
Really good points. And, just to reiterate, we have a lot of data around our sales and our performance. And what we want to do is add a whole new set of benchmarks and data behind retention, behind engagement, because ultimately the goal, for this initiative is to lower turnover, to lower absenteeism and to increase productivity. So how do we get your employees to stay longer employed for you? How do we get them to come to work more often? And how do we get them to produce more when they're in the spa? And we believe that this initiative is going to, teach us the best ways to do that and really allow your employees to tell us what they're missing. And so we're really excited for that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about our partner. So Megan and I spent some time speaking with different partners, and ultimately we landed on a company called GoHappy, and we're just so excited to be partnered with this team. We've had such a great experience with them so far. Megan and I have been really impressed with everything they've done. They're, a young, thriving company that's got a ton of really cool tools, and they're really good at what they do. And there's three things that attracted us to GoHappy. And a third party in general. So first of all, GoHappy are trusted experts in the field. They really know what they're doing. They'll speak a little bit to their experience, in the engagement and also in the frontline employee fields. But we feel like they really know what they're doing. They've got a lot of clients that are similar to ours and good benchmarking data. It's really important from an engagement perspective for your employees to trust that the feedback that they're giving is anonymous. We're going to get a better response rate, and we're also going to get better and more honest data if they can feel like they can trust that the feedback they're providing is truly anonymous. So there's a big benefit to going with a third party in order to maintain that anonymity. And then, like I said, industry benchmarks. So GoHappy works with other frontline companies. Their focus is on frontline employees. So a lot of their benchmark data industry-wide and outside of our industry is with frontline employees type businesses. So, we're excited not only to learn about the information we've got inside of Hand and Stone, but also compare our company to others when it comes to engagement as well. And you can see, we've included a few testimonials from other frontline companies that they've worked with. The first one speaks to an 87% participation rate, which for, anyone who's ever conducted a survey, that's impressive. The up in the 80% is double what you would see for a standard survey response rate. And we'll talk a little bit about how they drive that response rate and how you can help at the spa level too. And again, just getting a peek into what our employees are feeling and thinking, I think that they've got a lot of clients who've had a great experience with, changing big parts of their business based on what they've learned. Anything I missed, Megan?
No, I think that covers it all. That definitely sums it up. They've been incredible partners thus far, and I have every reason to believe that we're going to all have a great experience throughout this pilot with them.
Great. All right, so just going to spend a quick 60 seconds talking about the test program. We haven't shared this yet, so just want everyone to know what it looks like. So we're doing a 10% sample of the United States for this test program. So we have 47 spas, which is actually works out to be an exact 10% sample of our locations in the United States. And we were very selective in who we picked because we wanted a diverse representation of spas. So we have single and multi-unit organizations in our test. And then we've got representation across the cohorts. So we've got, spas all the way back from 2009, all the way to spas that opened just last year. And, we want to make sure that we have a really diverse data sample to make sure that we cover all the bases when we benchmark this data to begin with. And then from a geographical perspective, we tried to pick spas all over the United States too. So, we've got representation in a lot of our different markets, and we feel like we've put together a really good data sample for this. So let's talk program timeline. We've already shared this information in the initial invitation email, but we do have a few quick tweaks on here. So I just want to cover this, and we will go into detail on this in the next few slides as well. So our launch date is April 28th. The survey will be open until May 10th, and then you will receive your spa level results on May 24th. We're going to need a little extra time to generate the aggregate reports for the multi-unit organizations, but you'll receive your spa level results on May 24th. We're going to host a follow-up webinar on May 26th with GoHappy, and they will help to translate your results. So we're going to talk through what the results look like, the different areas of action. GoHappy will help us to translate that. And then we're also going to be rolling out an updated version of our employee engagement toolkit, which will also launch on May 26th. So you'll have early access to that document to use in the action stage of the program. And then I think what Megan and I are both most excited about is our action workshops. So we're going to host 2 workshops, one in June and one in July, each 30 days apart. And these workshops are going to be, collaborative in nature and allow us to display best practices. So Megan, do you want to talk about the workshops a little bit?
Yeah, I feel very strongly about this being a huge bonus for all of the people that are involved in the pilot here. First, thank you very much for signing up to be a part of this pilot program. And this is where I feel these 2 workshops is where I feel like you're getting the greatest benefit outside of the 4 walls of your spa. And our intention is for these workshops to be very interactive. We'll have cameras on if you're comfortable, open mic, and we'll identify through our study who our top performers are within the pilot itself, and we'll ask those people exactly what they are doing on a regular basis that they believe is really achieving this high performance, these high scores. So certainly not putting anybody on the spot that may get lower results, but instead highlighting our top performers within this pilot group. So I think that coming to that call is going to be a really, I kind of consider it a quote unquote round table of the virtual world, where we can really put our heads together and say, okay, here's what we're doing, here's what we're not doing, what do we think is really going to allow us to improve. Finding the benchmark and finding the answers and knowing how the employees feel is one thing, but if we aren't willing to take action to improve, then it's really for nothing. So this is what I think is going to be the key, is to be able to measure, now that we have this information, what are we able to improve, and in what areas of the business. So very much looking forward to these workshops. They're going to be very engaging and interactive, and we'll call on the audience and essentially our pilot participants to share what we know and ask questions and really design. I think that's going to be very powerful for all of you to be able to speak to one another.
Great. And I couldn't agree more. And just to reiterate that point, we're really excited about the data and the benchmarks that we'll receive from the survey. But the true essence of an engagement study and program like this is the action that's created based on what we learn when we collect that data. So the survey is really the start. And then, that 60 days after, that action that you create behind what you learn from your employees, that's what's going to create real change and what we're most excited about. All right, that's all Megan and I have for now. So I am going to turn this over to Ashley on the Go Happy side. Awesome. And they're gonna walk you through some of the details.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Megan. Mm-hmm. We are so excited to be here with you guys today, as my screen decides to take a second to load. And we're super excited to partner with this group of spas that is participating in this initiative. So thank you again. I'll give you just a little background about us. We are super passionate about frontline employees. We have been in this space for 20 plus years. You saw Sean Boyer, who's part of the panel here today. He started Snagajob back in May of 2000, and really our focus there was on sourcing and onboarding hourly workers. You may have heard of Snagajob, you may have used it. What we found is that companies often didn't do a great job of engaging their employees once they were hired. And so really the idea for Go Happy was born then. And our focus now is on helping you guys better engage your employees. I'll just give you a quick look at a subset of some of our clients. You'll notice we're pretty much industry agnostic. I always tell people that if a large part of your employee base doesn't sit at a desk, then you're a good fit for us. But in all seriousness, most of them that you see here on the screen, their employees are highly dispersed. So anything from your manufacturing company, call centers, franchises, many of these companies you're probably familiar with. Our mission here at Go Happy is to help all frontline workers feel more valued and connected so that they can reach their full potential. We have found that when you truly hone in on helping your employees feel valued and connected, whether that be to their teammates, to their leader, to the overall mission and values of the organization, that's when they become engaged. And when they're engaged, they're performing, they're committed, they're promoting you guys to their friends and to others. And you'll see here to the right, these are some Gallup studies of what happens to the top quartile of companies when their employees are engaged. and it's quantifiable to your bottom line. I thought it was really interesting at the beginning when Mike mentioned that some of the goals that you guys have with this survey is to lower turnover and to lower absenteeism and to increase productivity, which mirrors this exactly. I'm going to pause for a second here. I'm going to turn it over to our Chief Engagement Officer, Greg Moyer. He's going to share a little bit more about why engagement matters and our model here at GoHappy.
Hello, everyone. As you can see on this chart, this is a Gallup study that was done, well, it's done every year actually, around the world with millions of employees. And they find that when they tally up all the results of their survey, they can determine how many are engaged, how many are disengaged, and how many are actively disengaged. And the sad part, it's really sad, that of all frontline employees and employees around the world, the average engagement level is in the 30% range. And that means that 70% of the employees fit these two definitions that are here of being disengaged or actively disengaged. And those are employees who are either just putting in their time, they're really not passionate about their work, they're doing enough to get by, or they're actively disengaged and actually causing some disruption at the workplace. So our hope in doing what we're doing through the engagement model and survey and the work that follows that is to increase the number of employees that are engaged within each of the organizations that we serve. And that's our primary mission here. Next slide. It certainly has an impact on profitability. You looked at the stats earlier around absenteeism and so on, turnover. By improving absenteeism, lowering turnover, you're absolutely going to impact the profitability of the organization. And that translates into a real cost and a real impact on profits. So you can see here, we look at data that's available from a wide section of industry, and the average is about $3,400 for someone working at the frontline level 20 hours a week, making $10 an hour. That's a significant cost. And if we can impact that, and you can impact that by what you're doing through this engagement work, it makes a huge difference for the organization. Our model, as you can see here, has three components to it. The first is the manager actions. They also follow the model. So let me start with them and say that what the manager does makes probably 70% of the difference based on Gallup studies in terms of the engagement level within the organization. And what does the manager do that has the greatest influence? They appreciate the employees that are on their team. They connect those employees to each other, to themselves as the manager, and to the organization overall. And they are committed to coaching those employees and making sure that those employees are getting the feedback they need to continually improve, and also to make sure that they're on a path within the organization that gives them the kind of fulfillment and the potential that they feel they have to grow with the organization. So we believe that those manager actions are what most influences the employee experience. And as Ashley pointed out earlier, when you looked at our mission of the organization, our mission is to help employees become valued and connected in their respective organizations. That really determines their experience at work. And that experience determines their engagement level. And engagement is measured by us in terms of, are they willing to put in extra effort to get the job done? How they perform? Are they committed to the organization and not really looking actively for another job? And are they promoting the organization to other people outside of the organization as candidates or as customers? So those three things we measure with our survey. And then based on those results, it comes back to the manager so that they can gauge what they need to do in each of those three key action areas: appreciate, connect, and coach. Next slide.
Thank you, Greg.
Yep, sure.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's all. Thanks.
Thank you. So let's take a quick peek then at the survey. It is built specifically for the front line, which is why Hand and Stone is such a great partner for us to work with. And the cool thing about this is we will be delivering this survey via text. We know that that is where your employees live. Most of them aren't at a desk behind a computer all day. And so we will be delivering this in a way that's easy for them to complete and goes back to that completion rate that Mike mentioned at the very top of the presentation. So if you'd like, you're welcome to pull out your phone, scan this code with your camera, and take a quick look at the survey. I'll go through a couple of questions and just give you a little insight into the survey as we go. But it's 14 questions. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes to complete. We're going to ask for everyone to select the location that they work at, as well as the department that they work within. And then from here, we're going to launch right into those 14 questions. 11 of these questions are going to be focused on the employee experience. 3 questions will be focused on engagement. So you can get the idea here. And again, you'll have access to this presentation so that you can go through it afterwards as well. But what really makes our survey different, aside from it being exclusively built for hourly, is that it's actionable. Make my screen a little bit bigger for you guys. It's actionable. So after the survey period has ended, as Mike and Megan indicated, you are going to have access to your results, and they're going to be housed in a dashboard. You'll get those results May the 24th. And I'm just going to give you a little peek at that dashboard so that you have an idea as to what it will look like. We won't get into the nitty-gritty today because we will have that webinar on May the 26th, but I just want you to understand a bit as to what we will house here. So if you are a spa owner who only has one location, you will be able to pop in here and select your location. In this example, I've got one selected. You'll see the number of employees that completed the survey and the % that are engaged. If you have more than one spa, in this example, you would just come over to your name here. You'll be listed under the franchisee dropdown, and you'll see in this example, there are 2 locations. And these are the average result scores that you'll see here. As you scroll down, you're going to also be able to see average responses to each question by location, as well as any free-form comments that your employees decided to leave. So that will be the aggregate information here on the first page. You'll notice there's a second page to the dashboard. This is really where the actionable piece comes in and where you can really dig in to help your departments improve their team's experience and how your spa leaders can better connect, coach, and appreciate their team. So those questions about employee engagement, you'll see the answers and responses to those 3 questions here. And the 11 questions around employee experience, you'll see those results here. One thing I'll point out that's really been helpful for our other clients, there's a link here out to a development feedback document. You're welcome to print this if you'd like to use it during one-on-ones or whatnot, but all of the information that you'll need in terms of coaching, connecting, and appreciating your employees will be here. All of those tips as to how we can help you there. So again, we will go into this in more detail on the 26th, but that will just give you a sneak peek as to what you can expect.
Hey, Ashley.
Yeah.
Just one note for everyone, the survey and the dashboard are both demos. So you're not going to see all of your locations in the survey. You're not going to see your locations in the dashboard. These are all demo accounts that we're giving you access to early so you can see how the survey works. The real survey will have all of the locations that are in the test program. So if you don't see your location listed in the demo survey, don't worry about it. It's just a demo account.
Great point, Mike. Thank you. Great point. One of the other pieces of information that we think is super crucial for you guys to have access to is this poster that we would recommend you hang up in your spas, just to letting everyone know what you will be doing, when it will be taking place, and they can actually scan this QR code on the poster to actually complete the survey as well. So the more you can talk about it with your employees, the better. So in terms of next steps, we're working with Mike and Megan to make sure that all of your employees have accurate phone numbers in Zenoti. So what we would ask of you is to make sure that all of your employees have updated that information, or you have updated it on their behalf by Monday, because we will launch this survey on the 29th. So in the meantime, print that poster, use this time to encourage your team to complete the survey, let them know how important it is, why it's important, that you guys want to make sure you can make this the best possible workplace for everybody. And again, you'll have access to be able to print that poster straight from this deck. And then in terms of the communication, as we mentioned, the survey will go out via text, but we will also send reminders on these dates that you see here to your employees to complete the survey. Because we're protecting anonymity here, we cannot segment who we send that reminder text to, so it will go out to everyone. And this is just an example of what you'll see. You'll notice here that we'll have the link to the survey. If they've already completed it, that's just fine. But again, just to preserve anonymity, the reminders will go out to everyone. One really important note is that any employee who's been hired within the last 60 days will not receive the survey. So this will just be for employees who've worked with you or for you longer than 60 days. And I'll touch on in just a second the tools that we have in our toolkit to help you engage those new hires as well. So just to summarize, we're going to focus on getting phone numbers accurate and in Zenoti by Monday. We're going to announce the survey, launch it next week, and then we will have all of your results available for the most part May 24th. Mike's point around multi-unit franchisees will take just a couple of days longer, but we'll get those in there as quickly as possible. And then in terms of those new hires, like I mentioned, we offer a library of pulse surveys. Here's just a quick glimpse of some of those. We do have a specific new hire survey that you will have access to during this pilot period if you would like to survey some of those newer folks on your team. But this just gives you a glimpse of some of the others that you would have access to as well. Mike, Megan, anything else that you guys would like to add here?
I think we're good. We're going to recap some of the key points that you just talked about in our next few slides. So I think we'll cover it there.
Great.
All right. So
it was a great question, actually, if you don't mind me answering in the chat. I think that this is probably something that's on everyone's mind. And this was a question we asked. Will the reminders go out to all employees that have, or just people that haven't completed the survey? And this was something I was confused about too. So I think it was a great question. This actually, all of the reminders go out to everybody because we really want to preserve the anonymity of this survey. We don't want anyone to, we really don't want to track who has answered and not. Especially for our smaller spas that only have a few people in each department. We don't want there to be any way for us to discern who's given the feedback or not. So all of those texts go to everybody that's receiving the survey. Great question.
Good question. All right, so our last few slides, we're going to cover what expectations, what your frontline employees can expect and what we expect from them, and then our next slide will cover from the leader perspective. So from your frontline employees perspective, our goal is 100% participation, and I think it's important to set that goal with your teams. So in order to reach that 87 to 90%, we need to set the expectation that everyone shares feedback, and it's better for the spa and it's better for the team if everyone does share feedback. So the more data we gather on the questions, the more accurate the final results will be. And then, I'm not sure if we got to that in the survey, but the employees do have an option at the end to share open feedback as well. So they can type in any feedback that they'd like to share anonymously as well. And so, the more comments we get like that, the more meaningful that data will be as well. So our goal is to get everyone in every spa to take this survey, and they have plenty of opportunities to do that. So Ashley outlined the text notifications. So there's a welcome text that goes out on the 28th. The survey goes live on the 29th. There's several reminder texts that go out in between. And then we have a final reminder on that final day of the survey. And so, we're really just asking them, fill out the survey, and be as open and honest as you can, and provide any feedback that you've got. We're big believers that even asking people to share their feedback is going to help to raise engagement in the spas. But, obviously, the more open and honest they are, the more we can do with the data and with the feedback that we receive. So looking ahead a little bit, the other things that they can expect. So we're going to do what's called a pulse survey. And we will review this again on our May 26th webinar. But a pulse survey is a quick 1, 2, 3 question survey that's going to go out each month after the initial survey. It will also go out via text. and it's going to check in with them on some of the actions we've taken, maybe ask a new question here and there, but they can expect to receive those pulse surveys around 30 and 60 days after that initial survey closes. And then again, we just want everyone to approach this with an open mind, understand that it's truly anonymous, so they can feel safe being honest in their feedback, and we want to hear what they have to say. So we're really excited from the employee perspective to have this opportunity to give them the place to share this feedback. Anything else on that, Megan?
No, I think that covers it. Thank you.
So from the leader perspective, the nice thing about this platform is a lot of the work is done for you. So our big ask for you is make sure that in Zenoti, all of your employees that you'd like to be surveyed are active. All of your past employees that are no longer with you are properly terminated, and that every single employee that you want to participate has a mobile phone number entered into Zenoti. And I do see a question that says, well, you have to check off that they can receive text messages in Zenoti for them to receive the link. You don't, because it's not going through Zenoti. So as long as that phone number is in their profile, we're gonna do a download Monday after this period closes, and we'll pull all the data out of their employee profiles. So make sure that every one of your employees has an active mobile phone number that they can receive a text message to. Otherwise, they can use the poster in the break room. It's either with the link or with the QR code, but our strong preference is that we can reach them directly through the platform via their mobile phone, because that's when we get the best response rate. We have the break room poster that you can download and print, and we will be sending these slides with those links out as soon as we're done here today. So you'll have the link to the poster that you can print out and put in the spa. And the best thing you can do is just talk about this with a positive attitude. Get your employees excited, explain why it's good for them. If they see you excited, they're going to be excited about it. And maybe some of them haven't had the opportunity to share feedback like this before. As Megan mentioned earlier, we did a study like this in 2016 with Hand and Stone Spas, and we didn't have anywhere near the technology that we've got with Go Happy, and we got a great response rate from that survey, and we got really positive results. None of our employees were concerned about sharing feedback, and so now we've got an even better system. So we're trusting that everyone's going to be really excited for the opportunity to use the system to share that feedback. So you'll receive, again, your initial spa level results on May 24th. A few days later, multi-unit organizations will receive their aggregate results for their organization. We've got our results webinar with the Go Happy team to help you translate those results on May 26th. You'll also receive the updated employee engagement toolkit during that webinar. And then we've got our interactive action workshops on June 23rd and July 21st. And then, as Ashley mentioned at the end, during that webinar on the 26th, we're going to review some of the other tools that you're going to gain access to, which we're really excited about. So there's things like an onboarding survey you can use, or an exit survey for employees that leave. There's all kinds of different tools outside of the initial engagement study that we'd like to test in some spas. So we'd love to know which tools you plan to use, and track those and see how those are going as well. So lots of exciting stuff coming from the leader perspective. We'll send out registration links for these upcoming webinars with the PDF slides, so you'll have all of that information, and we'll try to send out regular reminders on what we're doing as well. Anything else I missed on there, Megan?
No, I think that covers everything.
All right, so that's all of the information that we've got today. I think we answered the 2 questions. We've got one more. Will the slides with the poster be emailed to just owners, or will it go out to everyone on this webinar? Our list right now is owners. I'm trying to think, Megan, if there's a good way to get this out to people outside of that list. We may have to talk about how to do that best.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we have accurate manager email addresses on every single spa. I don't want to promise that and not be able to gain that. So I definitely think, to be safe, we'll do our best to come up with a way to do so, but to be safe, let's make sure that you know to expect this by end of day today. And if you haven't received it and you're a manager on the line, ask the owner to forward. And we'll be sure to copy the entire operations department as well. Everybody on our team knows we're launching this pilot. Almost all of them are even on the line here, so we'll make sure we get it to you in a timely fashion.
Good question. Any other questions? I think we're really excited on the the drill down part. So the fact that we get to drill down by department, I think we're going to be able to really compartmentalize some of this data and figure out where are the areas of most opportunity in each of your spas. So, I can't speak to, how excited we are to do this. And I hope all of you are as excited as we are. I think this is going to give us all, a peek into an area of the business that we just don't know that much about. And we're hoping that it's going to drive really positive results. And I think we've got the right partner to get this done well. So
we have another great question that just came through, Mike. Should we invite managers to the results webinar and action webinars? Absolutely. And I'm sorry for not being clear on this in the start. So we're not sending manager employees the survey themselves. We're including managers on the employer side. And so we would hope that our managers that are even on the line today or not on the line today will join as many of these webinars as possible as their schedule allows for the future. I definitely want to make sure all of our spa leaders understand the data that's being presented and gain the benefits of collaborating with everybody else in the pilot on action plan. So I would absolutely invite all spa leaders to these conversations. Great question.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Megan, and I think we should make it again. So, spa managers don't participate in the survey, right? You participate in the action that's created by the survey, but this survey is for spa associates, massage therapists, and estheticians. That's what it's designed to, is those frontline employees, the people on the front lines. Any other questions? All right.
Give everyone a chance to type. Let's give it 1 or 2 more minutes. And thank you very much to the Go Happy team for partnering with us on this and giving such a clear direction on next steps. I'm really excited. I think everybody knows what's going to happen next. So
For sure.
Fantastic. Feel free to reach out to Mike or I if you have any questions that pop in your head later today. Like Mike said, we'll send you this recording, we'll send you the slides, we'll send you the poster that you can post, and just keep in mind we need to make sure that that we do all of the work in Zenoti so that we have an accurate list. That hire date is important. As a reminder, we're not sending these texts to anyone that's employed in the past 60 days. So we do want to make sure that it's people that have been on your team for 60 days or more. So that hire date is important too. So just make sure we have everything accurate on your employee side in Zenoti, and we're going to pull that list late Monday night. So thank you to everybody. Thank you so much for seeing the vision that Mike and I share and how important this topic is, and stepping up to the plate to be more aware of this important area of the business.
For sure. And I just threw my email into the chat. So if anybody wants to be added to our email list, just send me an email. I can get you the slides directly. If you have questions, feel free to use my email address. Happy to help however we can. Well, thank you everyone for taking the time to join today. We'll get the slides out with the links this afternoon, and we look forward to launching this with you guys. Hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you.